welcome to this episode on my App Tutor TV. This week we're going to create this I'm on fire sort of molten letter effect so that we eventually in the next episode will be able to add some flames onto the letters to give us this I'm on fire text effect. Let's get going. Okay, I'm going to start with the basic scene we've got here where we've got a black background, as you can see here, with some white type on top. Now I've chosen a particular font. The one I've chosen is the Felix titling font, which you may well have. If not, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get it on the net. Just do a quick Google search for it, install it on your system, and away we go. So once you've got your text on your page, I suggest putting it down the bottom of your black background, and once you've got it there, I'm going to add some effects to it. So let's double click in a blank area next to the title I'm on fire, and we will get our layer style dialog box to come up. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to come down to color overlay, so let's just click on that, and then I'm going to change the default red color here to a nice orangey color. And we could just eyeball this if we wanted to. I'm going to come down to about 30 in the H in the HSB here and leave the saturation and everything else as it is, and then click OK. The next thing we're going to do is going to add an inner glow. So let's click on that and check it off. And the first thing we want to do is change the color. You can see we've got it's a very light yellow color. So let's make this a little bit more of a darker color. Let's crank this in here and probably change this to around, I don't know, let's change this to around 50 so we get this nice deep yellow color. Let's click OK, and then we want to change the blend mode up the top here from screen to one of the brightest, which is the linear dodge add. It makes it really stand out there. You see it's almost on fire already. And then let's just change the pixel size to around 7, just make it that little bit thicker. And then of course we don't want it to be transparent anyway, so let's change the opacity all the way up to 100%. Next thing, let's add an outer glow. So let's click on outer glow here, and once again let's just change the color here. Let's change the saturation here to 100, and let's change the hue to 15 degrees. That gives us this sort of bright orangey color here. Let's just click OK, and then let's change the opacity all the way up to 100%, and let's just change the size here all the way up to about 10. Should do us. Okay, the next thing I want to do, I want to increase the darkness inside here. But before we do that, let's just click OK here, and I'm just going to zoom in a bit so we can see a little bit more what's going on here. I'm just going to use the hand tool here to just push this out the way. I'm going to concentrate on the word fire here. Once again, let's just double click on here to get our layer style dialog box that comes up. And to get the darkness inside the letters, I'm going to use the Saturn tab here. So let's click on that, and you can virtually leave everything at the defaults we've got here. Make sure your contour is set to the Gaussian contour. But the thing I want to do here is just crank up the opacity, but I want to change the color. I don't want black to be inside here. We want it to be a deep red color. So let's just change that saturation to 100. Let's change the hue to about 15. Let's change the brightness to about 50, and that gives us this deep lustery red color, and then just click OK. One thing we can do is we can fiddle around with the angles we got here. You can change these to whatever you want, and you see as you're fiddling these around you get a different sort of effect each way. Now I'm going to leave it at what was the default, which was about 19. I'm just going to type in 19 here, I want to change the distance to just a little bit less than the default 11. I'm going to crank that down to around 6, and then the size, well, you can probably leave that at about 14, 13, should be good. And that's it, that's all we got to do for the layer style here, so let's just click OK. So we've got our text here, but it's missing a few elements. We need to add a few things to it, but before we do that we need to convert our text object here to a smart object so that we don't damage it or cause it any problems in any way. So the way we do that is we just right click on it here and make sure you click on the name and not the icon for the text itself, and come up to where it says convert to smart object, click on that, and there you go, it's converted to our smart object. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add some filter effects here. Now, because I've saved this as a smart object, it's protected, so we can add as many filters or whatever we want to it, and we actually don't damage that text itself. So let's come up to the filter here, and the first filter I'm going to add is the distort ripple. So click on that, and in the dialog box that comes up, we just need to navigate to our text here, which is at the bottom, and we'll come over to the F, as you can see here. Now by default this comes in under medium. You can change it to large, which gives you a bit more of a sort of a wavy effect, but 100% is probably a bit too high. I want to just come down to around 20%. That looks good. And then click OK. And it'll apply that effect to our fire as if it's rippling with fire. So here we go, it's in here now. I'm just going to increase the size of this here, just move it over so we can see what's going on here. Now I want to add another filter effect to this, exact same one, so we can come up to here and we can either click on the first one here, which is the last filter we've done, or we could use the keyboard shortcut Control F. Let's just click on that again, and let's just push up here so we can see the letter F again. This time I'm going to choose the medium size here, and I'm just going to bump this up just a little bit more to around about 50, 53. That looks good, and then click OK. So as you can see in here, we've got two ripple effects, but one's on top of the other. So if I remove this one here, well, there's no discernible difference because it's being hidden by the one above it. So what we need to do is we need to blend between the two. So if we click on this small icon here, which gives us our filter blending options, this comes up here and we can just move and see our text again. What we want to do is change the opacity of this all the way down to 50%, and then click OK. And then the one below that, we change that to 50 as well, and then click OK. And there we go, we've got our double ripple effect. Okay, there's one more filter I want to apply, and that can be found up in the filter tab here. Now in Photoshop CSS or Creative Cloud, you need to select filter gallery here, and then the dialog box that comes up, we're going to go down to sketch. But before we do all this, we need to ensure that we've got our default colors in here. So just press D, which ensures that our black is our foreground and our white is our background. And once again, come up to filter gallery. Let's open it up. Let's go down to sketch, and let's just move this up so we can see our fire word here. And I'm going to use the first one here, this bas relief here, and it comes in like so. So let's just check the settings we've got here. So we've got detail at 13, smoothness on 3, and we want the light to be coming from the top because we're going to have flames coming off this. The flames are going to be up here illuminating the text, so let's ensure that it's coming from the top. So you see it's lit from the top here, and then just click OK, and it comes in like so. Our nice red, and orange and whatnot colours are gone. Okay, so there's a few things we need to do here. We need to come to our filter gallery here. Let's double click on it. And we need to change the blend mode here. We've currently got set to normal. Let's change it to overlay. And it gives us this sort of effect here. Let's click OK. And the last thing we need to do is we need to remove this smart filters here. We don't need this anymore. So let's just click on it and delete the filter mask here. And away we go. And there's our text. Let's just Control O. Get that out. So we've got our text. Next thing we need to do is put our fire on it. And you can watch how to put the fire on your text in the next episode of My App Tutor TV.